Welcome back to Allowed to Ask, a First Rounds on Media production. Small talk can be exhausting. You match with someone and then it's endless texting that never leads to anything real. Wouldn't it be nice if you could just skip all of that and actually get to the fun part? That's exactly what First Rounds on Me does. With the 24-hour chat feature, once you mat and have a date planned, you've got a limited window to get to know each other before the date. No more endless back and forth, just a quick, real conversation to make sure you're ready to meet in person. Use code A2A, capital A, number 2, capital A, to get 1 month free of Frome's Terracotta subscription and start connecting faster with less stress. Right,
Perfect.
Perfect. We are so excited to be sitting here with Sherrie Schneider, author of the OG book, The Rules. Your name is really fun to say, actually. Sherrie. Wait, now I'm having a hard time saying it. Sherrie Schneider.
Alliteration, right?
Thank you so much for being here and taking the time to sit with us.
Thank you for asking me.
Of course, of course. So you wrote the OG book called The Rules. And I feel like we've referenced it before.
Many
I can't speak
times.
after doing 2 podcasts in a row, apparently. We referenced it many times. So just want to hear more about you, your background, how you got into, becoming an author and writing this incredible book.
Sure. Well, back in '94, I guess you weren't born.
No.
The culture back then, the dating culture back then was like the Wild West. It was
Right.
like anything goes. Women were becoming doctors and lawyers and CPAs, MBAs. And they felt like the same aggressiveness they used at work, they could do with dating.
Mm-hmm.
They were asking men out and paying and traveling to men. It was like crazy.
Yeah.
And we noticed, because we met with Ellen and I were best friends, and we would meet on the Upper East Side with our single girlfriends. And we noticed that the girls that did that, were aggressive, got dumped.
Oh,
And the girls that were a little hard to get or aloof got the ring. So we put 2 and 2 together and said, you know what? Don't talk to men first. Don't ask them out. Don't go out with them last minute. Basically do these rules like the Torah,
Yeah.
And we did them ourselves. I did them on my husband. I got married. I got the ring. And Ellen did them on her husband. And we said, you know what? And then girls started to call us and say, what are you doing?
Right.
So we decided to write it down so everybody had the answer. And it really works because what feminism didn't take into account is that biologically, men are different from women.
Yeah.
Like academically, professionally, we can be equal. You can have a podcast. Jason, somebody else, a man can have a podcast. But when it comes to dating, men love a challenge.
Okay.
They want the girl they're not sure they can get. Like they want a little bit of a hard time.
Okay. So how would you really sum up the rules for people who are listening and don't know what it is?
It's about being hard to get. It's about not being impossible to get.
Uh-huh.
But first of all, we don't speak to men first, because if you make the first move either on an app or in person, he knows you like them and there's no challenge, there's no chase. It's like game over.
But you still believe that now too?
Yes, 100%.
So
Oh my God, I so disagree with you.
Okay.
Dare I say? I don't know. I think it also just depends on who the person is. A lot of my friends and, girls I know were very to themselves and we're always like, yeah, the guy has to come to me. I had a different approach.
Okay.
I mean, I got set up with my boyfriend through a setup. So it's different. I didn't approach him or he didn't approach me. But it's interesting because I think it depends on the person, to be honest.
Well, we believe that men have a type and a look. So let's say you're Jerry Seinfeld and you like short brunettes. If I'm a tall blonde and I approach Jerry Seinfeld when he was single, he would not be interested in me. So I'd be wasting my time. He might go out with dinners with me. He might take me to a show, whatever. But ultimately, he likes Jessica because she's a short brunette. And Shoshana, his previous girlfriend, was a short brunette. So it's like men have a type. And my husband likes my look. He doesn't like tall blondes. Every guy has a kind of look.
Right.
So the girl that's pursuing a guy is just going to end up wasting her time because he's going to dump her when he meets the girl he really likes.
But that part I do is true. I do think men have a look.
Totally. But do you think that women have a look?
We have a look, but it's not life and death. Like with a guy, it's life. He must have a spark. He must feel a spark.
But
see, with
I
a
agree.
setup
I think
like
for
your
women,
boyfriend,
yeah.
a setup, nobody made the first move, so it's fine.
Right.
But he
do
has
agree.
to be the one to initiate the next date.
That I agree with.
Okay,
That I
then
totally
we're
agree
on the
with.
same
We're on the
team.
same page. I do think that men have a look. That I agree with. But I don't think that men have to be the ones to make the first move.
Okay.
Second move, yes. But I do think I don't think attraction builds for men like it builds for women. Yes, no? Maybe so?
Yeah, attraction has to be immediate for a man.
Right, that's what I'm
Whereas
saying.
where a woman, for example, we have she worked with us, Jennifer Fessler, she's now a New Jersey housewife.
Uh-huh.
And she worked at It's Just Lunch. And a guy came in and said, I want to go out with you. And she goes, I don't go out with my clients. And he like practically jumped on the table. He was like, I have to go out with you. And he was funny and smart and this and that. And he wasn't her look necessarily because she liked tall guys and he's short. And they're married now like 25 years because a guy needs to like your look, but a girl can fall in love over time with
grow.
your humor.
That I agree, yeah.
You
Right.
mentioned it's just lunch, right? Is that what
Yes.
you said? You're part of that?
No.
Oh, okay.
She worked for us before It's Just Lunch. She was
okay.
our assistant before It's Just Lunch.
Okay, so I don't even know if that's thing, but I remember when that first came out, I was like, that's
that
so
was
great.
6 dates.
Yeah.
But the thing is, with any dating service like matchmakers, we say
Yeah, I don't know what
make
that
sure
is.
that the guy sees the photo. We don't believe in like eHarmony where it's just mutual interests. There
Right.
has to be this like your look and you're not a serial killer.
Yeah.
Or you like your
what's
look and
this-
you have
what's
common
this?
interests.
I don't know this, what you guys are
eHarmony?
saying. No,
It's
no,
Just Lunch?
eHarmony, I know. It's just lunch.
It's Just Lunch is a setup. Like they set you up, but they don't necessarily show the guy your photo before.
Is it still a thing?
Interesting.
I don't know, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, I remember
But
when
the
it
bottom
first
line
came
is
out.
Yeah.
we noticed that the girls that pursued and were aggressive didn't get so let's say your situation. The girl
Yeah.
makes the first move, but then she makes more moves and she moves in and she travels to him. Like we were on Oprah and Oprah said her long distance relationship was a disaster because she always traveled to him.
Yes.
So if you're a girl and you're making more effort than the guy, it's over. It's like not gonna work out.
I understand. Like I think it has to be like an equal effort.
No,
but
he has to make more effort.
interesting.
He has to
okay.
pay.
No, this is all
He
like
has to pursue. He has to travel. My husband was from New Jersey. I lived in the city.
Uh-huh.
He drove every single time. He paid every single time. He never asked me to come to his area. We were engaged before I like started to go there. It's
right.
like if you want to go out with me, you're doing everything.
Do you? Yeah.
No,
And
but
I'm
I
not
like
a prima
that.
donna. I'm not like that at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
But when you're dating, if they don't feel that they're doing the work, they're not going to value you, respect you. Other girls he went out with, he told me like everything was so easy.
Right.
They came to him. They paid. And, and the thing with paying, because that's such an issue now, is it's not so much that the guy doesn't like you when he asks you to split the check. It's not about money. It's he doesn't like you when he asks you to split the
I
check.
honestly
Because
rarely.
no guy would ask you to pay if he really. If he
he
likes
liked
you,
you.
he's thinking, how can I get her to go out again?
No,
He's not
that,
thinking about the
yeah.
price of
Right.
the chicken. You got chicken, I got salmon.
Yeah.
So it's a whole. So when
Right.
girls are like, well, I offer to pay or I will pay, it's not about the paying. He doesn't like you.
No, I rarely hear about a guy making a girl pay. Like I think I've heard like out of like the past like 8-9 years being in the city, I think I heard like 1 or 2 stories of a guy actually making a girl pay.
Has anyone ever forgotten their wallet?
Like
No.
a guy?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No. And like and guess what? The people where the guy asked her to pay, they didn't go out again.
Right.
Right.
How do you think though, where like you're all about, the guy making the first move? What is your advice around if they have good intentions or not? Because I don't know. Now there's a whole like love bombing things where if the guy's making so much effort,
Yeah.
how do you know he's not
Well,
just
that's-
full of shit?
okay. This is the bottom line. The rules weeds out time wasters, situationships, guys that love bomb you. We're just looking for guys that ask you out on weekly Saturday night dates. So if a guy is
Saturday, I love it.
that's date night. You're both not working the next day. That's
really
that's
is date
prime,
night.
That's prime real estate. We don't want Monday night dates and we don't want last minute dates. We want
No,
Wednesday
Monday
for
dates
Saturday.
were
Yeah.
the worst.
Yeah.
That's like
the
no
worst.
effort.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying to you is that the rules weeds out all these kind of guys, love bombers, Tinder swindler. It doesn't happen to a rules girl because we're not interested in lots of texts. Like we're ignoring texts. We're just waiting for the text to say, "Can I see you Saturday night?"
Right.
We're
But
not
what
writing
about-
back about, "Oh, I went to Pilates and did you go to Starbucks?" It's like
What about when it gets to the phase where like you're seeing each other consistently and it's like date 5, 6 and
Yeah.
you're at the point, do you still think it has to be to the point where like the guy is still making all the plans?
yes, we do.
Really? What
Unless
do you
he
think?
says to you, "Okay, what do you want to do this? Do you want to do something different?"
Right. But you still think the guy should be the one to like, even if like you're fully dating.
If you're in an exclusive, committed relationship, it
Yeah.
starts to become like you might say, "I like to go to the theater," or "I want to," or "I have 2 tickets to a game." But in
Yeah.
the first few months, it should be
Courting,
him
she
courting you.
says.
Exactly. Like courtship is gone.
Right.
It's a lot of like, "What's up? What are you doing tonight?" Rules girls ignore that. We don't
Right.
even answer
Right. No
nonsense.
booty calls.
Booty call.
No,
Yeah,
well,
that
that's a
doesn't
different
exist.
story. Yeah.
Yeah.
Booty calls are not going to be a thing.
But the casualness, we don't like casual. We're like, we're
You're there with
busy.
intention,
You have
yeah.
a career. You have your Pilates class. You have friends. You have family. You have things going on. You can't be dealing with a guy that's like, what do you want to do in an hour?
No,
or, you know,
that's-
like casual.
That's a no-go. I
Yeah.
totally
Right.
agree with that.
But when you wrote the first book, that
Right.
was 30 years ago.
Yes.
Now I know there's another edition, right?
We
Isn't
have
there-
6 books total.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the latest edition, has anything changed? I mean, I know you still don't sleep with them the
Right,
first
right,
date.
right.
Yeah, how has
This
it
is
evolved?
the story.
Yeah.
Biology has not changed. Men are still wired to pursue. They like bungee jumping. They like hiking, and you know they like killing deer. But if you put a dead deer in front of their doorstep, they don't want to be bored. They like a little bit of a challenge.
Right.
The new book makes the claim that technology is what's changed.
Mm.
So you have more ways to break rules. You can break them on dating apps. You can break them on Instagram, like
I was
following
going to
guys.
ask what your thought of dating apps are.
Commenting on Facebook, friending his mother. We don't do any of that. So it used to be the girls knew, I'm not going to call the guy. Then it was like, well, what am I going to do about texting? What am I going to do about Instagram? You don't make the first move in any medium.
So no one's slipping or sliding. What do I always
Exactly.
say?
Yeah,
Like,
my mom
when
would
we-
always say slipping into their DMs. I'm like, I
Yeah,
think
we
it's
don't slip into that. They slip into our DMs.
Okay.
Okay,
So
but you're
you have daughters, because I see
I have a
one.
daughter, one daughter, yeah.
Okay. So do you make her follow the rules?
I don't make anybody follow the
Oh,
rules.
okay.
I mean, she seems to be rulesy to me. I'm
Okay.
just saying.
She's rulesing. Are you rulesing? She has thoughts.
Yeah.
She has
I mean, like a
thoughts.
guy before he dates her must be like, I better check the book.
Yeah, like holy
Oh,
shit.
guys don't even know I exist. I mean,
Oh, okay.
guys don't care about relationship books. I mean, I know you had Jared Freed on the
Yeah.
show and all that. He didn't, he even said people were asking about dating. He's not a dating expert. He's a comedian. So guys like, look at this book and they think it's interesting. They're
Yeah.
not devout. Women have study groups. They highlight it. They call for
we
consultation.
always talk about too how like we were just talking with a matchmaker before. Like it's so much more common for women to be talking about things like podcasts.
We went out with our family and friends a few months ago. My brothers, all I heard when I was listening to the guy stuff was the Yankees. Every other word was the Yankees. And with the girls, every other word was, so what did he say?
Yeah.
Did he text you? We go on dates and we analyze it for 5 hours. Guys go on a date and they watch
No,
sports.
it's so funny
right
because
after.
I like when I talk to
It's like night and day. There's no
my friends, I'm like, oh, how was the date? Whatever. If I ask my boyfriend, like, oh, how was so and so's date? He was like, oh, I think it went well. I was like, what do you mean? Like, give me details.
They
like,
just
they
even
don't.
if I say
Two
like, oh,
words.
how was like dinner with the boys? He's like, it was good. I'm like, I come home from work and I'm like, okay, I had this meeting, I had this phone call, I went to the bathroom 6 times today, I had this for lunch.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Girls just
can talk for
dissect.
hours,
Yes.
hours. So that's what I'm saying. Like the idea that it's all equal. You know, there are a lot of dating coaches who are like, yeah, you can call him, he can call you, you can ask him out, you could pay. No, it's not equal. Biologically, men get bored when you show too much effort. They're like, oh, I got it now. It's like she's into me. And they start to see what
You
else is
think
out
that's
there.
all ages of men?
Every age. Yeah.
So when you were young and you were dating,
Yes.
like you kind of had your own rules in your head.
Well, I had 2 older brothers, and I noticed
Me
that
too.
the girls that asked them out, even the prom queen asked my brother out because he looks like George Clooney. They were
Let's
not
talk about
interested
your
in
brother.
them.
Mommy, you're married.
He's with somebody. But what I'm saying is, even if the gorgeous girl asks a guy out, he's still not as interested. My brother has a type. He likes the the blonde, not Jewish girl kind of. And he has a type. He likes that type. So it's a waste of time if you're not his type. So the way to know is they make the first. How do you know a guy likes you? He speaks to you first.
What if a guy is painfully shy? You can come in.
Okay, painfully shy. I have another brother who's painfully shy.
Okay.
They somehow come close to the potato chip bowl at the party where you're standing.
Okay.
Even a shy guy will figure out a way to make a move. You know what I
Okay.
mean? So don't worry about shy guys.
Don't worry about it. Okay, no, yeah, I'm not worried. I'm just worried. I'm worrying about the shy guys who like are trying to make the move and like don't know what to do.
All they have to do is say hi. Or,
Yeah, but that could be painful for
you
some
could be on a
people.
dating app and you just message the girl first. I think I like your profile. You
Yeah.
seem nice. Want to grab coffee? I mean,
What are your thoughts on dating apps now? I know you mentioned
I
like
love
the book
dating.
is
I mean, the thing is, there's no way to meet guys unless there's bars, there's the gym, there's work.
Mm-hmm.
But once you're in your late 20s, 30s, the pool gets smaller and smaller. Dating apps are great because You can meet guys. I mean, most of my clients are on dating apps.
Yeah.
They have to be because they won't meet anybody. They go to work, they go to the gym, they go home. They're not
Right.
going to meet anybody.
Right,
I
by
agree.
just sitting at home.
Yeah.
Okay, so you
So
say
then you have to
the
say,
main
but-
thing is that they don't message the guy first. So you put your profile up, a few
so
pictures,
you're
light
not a
and
fan
breezy.
of you're not a fan of Bumble.
That's what I was just going to say.
Bumble is a disaster. First of all, it was created. It was created to be different, to say empower women, make the first move. And then recently they were like, you know what? Guys can make the first move on Bumble too, because they realized that it didn't work.
Oh, I
All
didn't
our
know
clients on Bumble were dissatisfied. I mean, I know one girl who met a guy on Bumble and they're engaged. But other than that, I had not heard any Bumble success stories, which is why it's now an app for meeting friends. They've changed it to a way to meet other girlfriends.
Which I also think is a great thing, because I think when you're probably in your late 20s, your 30s, your friends are getting married, they're having kids, and if you're still single, like you need to find like-minded, fun
Right,
people
but that's
to hang
nothing to
out
do
with.
with dating.
No, yeah.
If you want to meet girls, be my guest.
Right.
But I want to help all our clients, and we have
Right.
our books in 27 countries. So we get
I was
calls from
going to ask,
Canada,
what are these clients? Tell us
London.
more.
They are incredible women. They're all very successful, beautiful. You know, some are overweight, some are thin, whatever. But I'm saying overall, they have an amazing life. They can't get a guy for anything.
So besides
And
being
the
an
reason
author, you are also
we're
like
dating coaches. We have courses,
Now, who's the
seminars. Ellen Fine is my partner. We've been
Okay.
doing this for
and you're like besties.
best friends for 40 years. Yeah, it's great.
My
That's
question
nice.
is
So
though,
they
like,
call us after
Yeah.
they read the book. Because in the back of the book it says, "Call us if you
Give us a
have
ring.
a situation that you can't figure out."
give us a ring and we'll get you a ring.
Yeah,
Boom.
you're a great marketer.
Yeah,
That's how
that
it
is my
They're
business.
lawyers. They're real estate people, agents. They're amazing, and they can't get a guy. Why? Because they're too aggressive. They want to use the same aggression with men that they use for their career.
Is there a
And it
fine
doesn't
line
work.
though? Is there a fine line though where you can still like show interest and, you know, be adamant that you're interested in someone without being like overly aggressive? Because I agree. If a woman's going to be overly aggressive and be like, I want you, I'm going to make all the effort, blah, blah, blah. I don't think that's the approach. But do you think there's a fine line where, you know, the woman is showing interest back and
You show interest back, not first. So if a guy asks you out, you say, "Sure." That's interest.
Right. Okay.
But you cannot show interest by saying, "Hey, you're my type. Hey, you look like my brother. Hey."
What about
you know,
you?
did
Wait,
you
what
wa-
about
have
you
I-
walking up to guys?
Yeah, walking
That's
up to guys
no-no.
is a no-go.
Oh
No-go.
my God.
They will
that
know
was
you like them.
my
They'll sleep
bread
with
and
you.
butter.
They will sleep with you. They'll go out with you, but they won't marry you.
Maybe I didn't want to marry them.
Then most of our clients want to be in a
Yeah.
Dating with
an
intention.
Yeah, dating with intention.
Right.
Marriage.
What if your clients like do you think that if you're encouraging these women to take a kind of like a seat back, what's the word, like that sit back approach? I'm like having a hard
Laid
time.
back
Laid
approach?
back approach.
Laid back.
Whoa, English, hello. If you're encouraging more of like a laid back approach, like what if that's not their personality? Because I'm thinking of like me. I was single and I was like I was your
Yeah.
client and you're telling me to be laid back. Like that's just not me
There's
as a person.
nothing laid back about
Nothing
her.
laid back at all. So like I'm thinking like, okay, if I'm laid back and I'm cool as a cucumber going into the relationship and then we actually start dating, like I feel like the real me would start coming out. Like do you find that women have a hard time actually being laid back if they're just not a laid back individual?
We're not telling you to lie. We're not saying to say you went to Harvard if you went to Syracuse or
No.
in anywhere. I know you went to Syracuse. I'm just saying we just keep it simple. We're
Yeah.
not asking men out. We're not initiating anything.
Right.
But on the date, we're not supposed to be funny like girls, like comedians, like entertain. Like that's another mistake women make. They feel like they have to entertain him and make him.
No,
like
it should
them.
be easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or they have to dress slutty. No.
No.
Just be yourself. Just
Don't be slutty.
Be yourself.
Right.
You could be yourself. You could be a podcaster and aggressive and blah, blah. But just don't be aggressive with him, meaning end the date first. So for us, the first date is 1 hour. We don't want marathon
1
dates.
hour?
1 hour coffee or drinks. If he likes you and wants to see you again, he'll
I'm
ask
not
you for
even
dinner.
done sharing like what I do for work after an hour.
If he wants to hear more, then he has to. This podcast is 1 hour.
That's true.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, but this goes by so fast.
We want the guy to want more, not less.
Right.
What happens is, and I have clients like
So you
you're
don't
describing,
overshare.
they go on dates, they overshare about past relationships, how they got their heart broken, their dysfunctional childhood. 5 hours later, the guy is like gasping.
Well, no, I think there's
doesn't
like,
come back from the
I think
restroom.
there has to be like a standard around like don't talk about your fucked up childhood on a first date.
Right. But
Or
I'm saying
old
1
relationships.
hour,
Or old relationship, yeah,
1
criminal.
hour is like an appetizer. You just want to, they see you, they like what they see.
So
and
you're
then if they
anti-dinner
want-
dates for a first date.
I don't want a dinner date for the first date.
I didn't want it either. But what about drinks? Like by the time you get your drink, you're 30 minutes in. Interesting.
Right, so an hour total.
I would be your most difficult client ever. I just know
But
it.
is it kind of a little bit like Danny's Danny? She's very outgoing, fun.
That's fine.
Is it kind of, and she loves hard. So is it like kind of playing a game if she's kind of like holding back? Like, because she wants to be with someone. She wants to be with
but the
somebody.
thing is, the person who's more interested gets hurt more. So it's not that girls are doing this because they want to be Girl Scouts. It's that they got hurt doing it the other way. Okay, so when we wrote the book, we were sent to London to go on a talk show, and women were calling us after the show. They were all living with the guy for 5 years, and they're saying, like, how do I get the ring? He won't commit. And we're like, you have to move out. You have to move out. So it's not virtue that made women want to do the rules. It's pain. They were being with guys who, after 5 years, said, I don't know how I feel, or I'm not sure I want to get married. So if you don't want to be,
like, how did
we were like, we're sociologists. Ellen and I, like, we go into a party. We go to a party. We ask everybody who spoke to who first. Like, that's all we care about is when we meet a couple, who spoke to who first. Because if the guy didn't speak to you first, it can be problematic. If you initiate it. Okay, we have a client who initiated, and she did get married because we helped her get married anyway. And to this day, 20 years later, she still wonders, did he really like her? Did he really? Because she messaged him first on an app. If you don't want to have that kind of insecurity, like my husband, I met him at a party in the city. I walked in with my girlfriend. There were like 5 women and 50 women and like 5 men. I swear to God.
Oh my God.
And I thought to myself, it's like, I'm going to kill myself. Okay. And I walked in.
Wait,
and
how
I
old
swear
were
to
you?
God.
You were young. You were in your 20s.
I was 32, 33. I walked in and he walked over to me like, boom. There was no doubt. You can interview him. There was no doubt in my mind that he liked me because he made a beeline for me.
Right.
Now, my friend, she didn't know that he liked me, whatever. She stood next to him. And then I flitted around the room. She stood next to him all night because she liked him. And he didn't.
Stud.
But he didn't like her because she's not his look. She's a brunette. I mean, she's a redhead.
Was your friend then upset with you? That
No. It's like all's fair. Like she knew after a while that he liked me because he kept coming over. But the point is, I never in 30 years, we're married over 30 years, wondered, does he like me? But this client who made the
still
first,
like you?
Yeah, I think so.
Do you want to come confirm?
But this client who made the first move, 20 years later, she still feels uneasy about the fact that
That is just so wild to me.
Yeah, that's wild.
But it's true because insecure, if I made the first move, if I went up to my husband that night and started chatting with him, even if he married me, I would still think,
really?
If he had come up to me, how do you know? You never know.
And you know what's interesting?
I can't.
When I met my husband, I was kind of dating this guy, but I mean, he was just a really nice guy, so I kind of wanted to like him, but I didn't like him that way.
Your husband or the other guy?
The other guy.
Oh, the other guy. Okay, good.
But then, like, I feel like when
Could you imagine she was talking about my dad? I would literally say,
when we were young, we were all very like, welcoming. Oh, we're going for brunch. You invite this one, you invite that one, whatever. And when I met my husband, I just included him in all of our plans. And we were like good friends.
She met my dad through her ex-boyfriend.
Right. We were good friends for like 6 months.
And then what changed?
And then, I don't know, it just kind of was like, wow, this is like going great.
Did he ask you out? Did he?
I don't know, it just kind of happened. Like, I swear, we went to like a store together and then we went home and slept together. And 33 years later, here we are.
Dad, you dumb.
Okay, so the rules aspect of your situation is that you had this other guy. See, like Brooke Shields is not a natural rules girl. Like when she met Andrew Agassi, they were it wasn't texting, it was faxing back then. You know what I mean? They were set up by a friend.
My patients could never.
They were always like in contact. It wasn't the rules. Then she's depressed about her divorce. And Chris Henchy, her current husband, was showing interest. And she was like, no, I'm getting over that. She just wanted to be friends with him. And then after a while, he said, you know what? I don't want to just be friends. Like if that's what. So because she was getting over some heartache, or she had another guy in the wings, she was rulesy with Chris Henchy by accident. We call that the rules by accident. Oh. You're not deliberately doing the rules, but you have an ex-boyfriend, you have other things going on, you failed algebra, like you're just like a ditz when you meet the guy, so you're not intense.
Interesting. Okay. This is just like all like such like different like advice that we've heard, honestly. We've heard like a way different approach usually where it's like you can just date one person at a time, or after a certain amount of time, like you can ask them out. And like that's the approach I've taken. So it's just interesting to hear a different approach, to be honest. Because honestly, with my boyfriend, he asked me on like the first 2 dates, but then like once the third date came around, I was like, let's see each other this week.
Okay. And you're dating for how long?
Almost a year.
And everything's good. You want to marry him?
Beautiful.
Or?
Yeah, we're moving in August. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. I want to go back to the whole like the girl who's.
But
the
see,
woman,
you may be a more confident girl. Like,
but that's what I was gonna say.
Most of the girls that read the rules, they get like
They're reading it because they're looking to find Mr. Right.
They're more sensitive. They get crushed if it doesn't work out with a guy.
Right.
Maybe you're not that type of girl. Like we have a client who's married now, but she said when her ex-boyfriend broke up with her, she was in bed for like a month, and she's like a, managing director at like a major
somewhere big.
Yeah. And she was comatose. She was like in a coma for a month.
Oy.
So we're dealing with women that do not take breakups and rejection well.
Right. That's what I was going to
So
say.
if you
The
don't take
woman who's,
rejection
like,
well, do the rules. If you can like be fine and
right,
then
I'm also thinking about the woman though, and I
But
don't.
you weren't always so fine after a breakup either.
I was just about to say, like after breakups, I was no bueno. But I'm
Okay.
going back to
I was really bad.
she was worse than me. But I'm going back to the woman who was still so unsure after like 25 years if her husband even liked her. Like in my mind,
Yeah.
that's like, that just sounds like, not to be a bitch, but like her insecurities. Like after 25 years,
yeah,
shouldn't you know your husband's
she's
mother?
insecure, but it didn't help that she made the first move is what I'm trying to say. Like if you want to not feel insecure, don't make the first move.
Right.
Like I couldn't ask a guy out because I don't want to get rejected. He could like you with your boyfriend. He could have possibly said, no, I'm busy that day. And I would have been like, I don't want to feel that.
Right.
But I also, 25 years later, wouldn't even remember who approached who. That's like the beauty about
this
me.
bitch doesn't even know what she had for breakfast.
Every day is a great day, and every day, everything I ate is the best. Because who the hell remembers what happened yesterday?
We're like, Ellen and I are like sociologists. We think it's life and death because we've seen girls approach guys at the gym here, there, and have this fantasy. And then the guy dumps them when, like Sex in the City. I knew the real people, like Big and Carrie,
yeah.
and he dated her and it wasn't the rules. She spoke to him first, blah, blah, blah. And he kept saying, I'm not, marriage minded, blah, blah, blah. And then he broke up with her. And 6 months later, he married another girl.
I do actually find, I've heard those stories a lot, though, where a guy would have a girlfriend for a really, really long time, and the next person he meets, he's married.
Right. Yeah.
I guess, yeah.
But see, the rules is like a way of life. It's not just about dating. Like, we're very strict. Like, we don't believe in dating married men. So when we went to London,
That should be a rule forever.
Yeah, that should be rule number one.
We went to London and Princess Di was her birthday, and she was allegedly having a fling with this married rugby player, and his wife was a TV anchor, and she sent Princess Di the book and said, "Happy birthday, read the chapter, Don't Date a Married Man."
Yeah.
And then Oprah saw that and she called us.
Wow.
It was like,
You're
we're
like
very
People Magazine on steroids.
Right. We're very like, we have this religion about it.
That's
Like
so nuts that
we
people
don't
should know
believe
not to
in
marry.
flirting with a married man or talking to
Yeah.
men. We don't believe in talking to men first. We're just like very,
Black and white.
biblical.
Right.
I don't believe in
I mean,
I'm not talking to a
do
guy
not
first.
date a married man.
Yeah.
Please. That's just like
that should be like
that
chapter
should
one.
be like that's
Right,
not that shouldn't even be in a fucking book. Like just know that. It's like
But so many other things, like fantasy. Like a girl will call me up and say, I think my trainer likes me. And I'll say, how long have you known him? How did you meet? Blah, blah, blah. 4 years. Has he ever asked you out on a date? No. But he says my, aloe outfit is cute. I said,
I would love to be on a call with you. You probably are so
You're so
blunt. It's
funny.
amazing.
fantasy. It's like a but the thing is, these are women that are wasting their biological years. They're
Yeah.
they're 30s, and they're not going to have children if they keep having fantasies about the dentist who said, "Here, call me if your tooth hurts over the weekend."
Yeah.
He's not asking you out.
Yeah, no. That's crazy, though.
That's crazy. I would love to be a fly on the wall on
but
your
if
call. You're probably
you're-
like, get your head on straight, sister.
But when you like a guy,
Yeah.
you make things up. Like
Totally, we
you
were
can,
just
that is-
talking about
that's
that.
very true.
We were
That
saying
is
like,
very true.
you literally can create your whole lifestyle
yeah.
with them in a millisecond.
Or people at work. Like, you probably have women who, the guy flirts with, like he's in the mood. He flirts all day. I mean, who knows? He could be married at night. She probably thinks he likes her, but he doesn't because he would ask her out if he did.
yeah, that's
Correct.
our barometer. Like, how do you know
Yeah.
a guy likes you? He asks you out.
It's true.
It's
And that's
true.
not even saying the bar high. Like, that really is.
No.
Yeah.
So
Basic.
I
It's
guess
basic.
I guess you believe in the concept. If he wanted to, he would.
Yes.
Yeah. You guys preach
Oh, they're not too busy. They're not, it's like their mother's alive. I mean, come on. Okay, canceling. I know you addressed this in a previous the podcast I listened to. If a guy cancels, it's over. I mean,
What if he reschedules?
okay, why is he canceling?
Well, because
Maybe he got caught in a work meeting that went late. Maybe he has to leave town to do something. Here we go. I think if a guy says, I'm so sorry, something came up, I can't go on our date, an XYZ date, but are you free next week on Tuesday?
Yeah, if they reschedule right away. But it's usually, like, I've never seen a guy not kind of make it work.
Oh, if a guy cancels and they don't reschedule, like, you're in the shitter. You're done. It's over. And, like, if that's not obvious to you, like,
But I could see a guy canceling. I could see a girl canceling. Like, shit comes up at work these days.
A guy can't cancel. A guy canceling is like the kiss of death.
Even if they reschedule?
It's like canceling the Super Bowl. As a guy, have you ever known a guy say, I can't make it to a Super Bowl game?
But what if they reschedule?
Right, but the thing is, you should only cancel if there's like a blizzard or somebody's in the hospital. Guys are texting women who we know they're not interested in them and saying, work was really hard. I'm really tired. I'm going to cancel. If you're tired, you don't cancel.
No, tired. No, we're on the same page here. If you're saying I'm tired from a long day, I can't cancel. Like, no, you're gone. But if there's like actually something where it's like my boss is keeping me and I'm at the office.
Yeah, something like that. But
you've actually had guys send pictures, I feel, of them in the office. I remember something you
and if they didn't reschedule, then proof.
They hired a lawyer.
I'm like, I don't need proof. Thank you though. But right, if they don't reschedule, I'm like, don't care about you. And if they reschedule, I'm like, no problem. I get it.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's so funny.
Wait, what was my question? If you can go back in time, would you change anything about the original advice that you give?
Well, in the first book, we said, don't tell your therapist about the rules, because back then in 95, therapists were saying, go on date. When we wrote the first book, we looked at what other dating books were saying.
Were there other dating books?
There were other dating books, and they were saying, I
always heard about.
Right. They didn't, they weren't that successful because they were giving bad advice. They were saying, tell him how you feel. Ask him out if you want to. Sleep with him everything was whatever you feel. Anything goes, Wild West. Yeah. And we were no, you cannot tell a guy your childhood traumas on the first day. So anyway, we said that, and then therapists wrote to us. Many therapists wrote to us, and we were on Oprah, and Chicago therapist was in the audience, and she said, no, I agree with you. I told my clients to tell, but not to treat a date like therapy. They were going on dates after therapy and sharing the therapy session on the date. Therapists never intended that to be. In fact, many
people need fucking common sense. Yeah. I'm sorry.
But I also feel like look at
The Bachelor. On the show, this is like their first meetup with Grant, and they're like, my last boyfriend abused me.
That's producers, though.
Well, yeah, but we hear this about dates too, where they're just saying, don't break my heart because the last guy broke my heart.
Right.
Like they're, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, on a first date, that was nuts.
Right. But years ago, I feel like when we were young, people didn't even really talk about therapy. When we were young. Now it's like,
or dating.
Now it's kind of like, I go to therapy. Like everyone.
It's not a big deal, but it's not something I'm going to talk about on a first date.
Correct.
No,
or
and
many dates.
I'm actually thinking about it now. I feel like I've remembered like on dates, guys mention, not tell me about their therapy session, but like they've mentioned their therapist. And I've like taken note of it. Like, you're telling me you're a therapist. Like, love a man in therapy. Like, good for you, queen. But like, you don't need to tell me on the first date. Right. What would you say is the most controversial rule that you promote? Promote's not the word, but maybe
I guess on this podcast, it's don't speak to a man first. Yeah, I mean, women will argue about it, but in their hearts, they know that the only way to know for sure is to be asked, to be spoken to first. Because then, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and we do it like with the media. Like we never called Oprah. We never called anybody. I didn't call you. Yeah. You contacted me. That's how I know you want me. Yeah. If I had contacted you and said, "Oh, Jenny,
we want you,"
it would be like I wouldn't know if I was really wanted here.
Yeah.
I'd be like, "Oh, is she doing it because just to be nice, or because she?" When people ask us to be on TV or radio or whatever or podcasts, they want us. And most of the time, the producers are going through a dating situation. Where the reporter is going through a dating situation and they really want a private consultation. You know, they want the dirt.
Funny. So you think the rules basically work for everybody? For girls, for women?
Absolutely. This book is not for men. Men don't read relationship books.
Right.
Do you know any men? I don't know.
No.
They're like the Yankees, the Giants. I mean, they'll
golf.
Yeah. I don't
Right.
see guys talking about relationships like.
So that's interesting. We should do like a little science project and somebody who's
I
out
would
there
love
dating.
to have a man read this. Well, what does your husband think?
I mean, he agrees with it because he went on dates with women and said to them right up front, this is not going to go anywhere. And they were like, fine, I'll stay with you anyway.
What?
Yes, because some women, they just don't have self-esteem. They're like, all right. They like the dinners. They like the going out. Whereas the rules girl is very like
They
intentional.
need the rules and a confidence coach. It all so many things come back to confidence.
It really does.
We have courses. We have a confidence course, a charm school course, because we found women are raised by their mothers and society to get the job, get the career, go to college, get the condo, run a 5K race. Nobody's teaching dating. They don't teach
told to run a 5K race.
They don't teach you how to end the date first, how to be,
No, and that's
lovely
why I
on a
love that
date.
there are people like you and other dating coaches out there, because I feel like it's a conversation that was never really had or normalized.
No.
Like there are people's careers are about dating, and that was so not
people
a
don't know
thing.
what they're doing.
But do you think that like, and we're a part of the problem too. We literally have a dating podcast. But do you think like it causes a lot of noise? Like a lot of like, I remember when I was single, I was thinking about so many rules and things like that. And at the end of the day, I stuck with like what I felt comfortable doing. But do you think like people like us, to be honest, like kind of get into people's brains in like a bad way, maybe? I'm shooting us in the foot too right now, to be honest. But like, do you think there's a lot of too much noise in the industry?
I mean, there is a lot of dating talk lately, and I don't know, maybe it was like after COVID, people didn't know how to connect. I mean, I don't know. I just know that most women, in their 20s and 30s want to get married or want to be in a healthy relationship. And they know that they're capable of blowing it. Like I have a client, she's a very smart lawyer. And if the guy doesn't text her like every day or call her every day, whatever it is, she blows up. She's like, you said you were going to call me at 5. It's 7 o'clock and you didn't call me. And, some of this is
like a pain in the ass.
No, but some of this is childhood issues. But she also feels like he should be a man of his word. And we have this whole, I said, you cannot tell people to call you. Like if he said he's going to call you and he didn't, then do something else. Go to Pilates, do whatever.
Right.
But she feels, no, I'm going to tell. And the more she demands and says and blows up, the worse,
It's pushing
the
her
more
away.
he runs for the hills. So do people need coaching? Yeah, because they're taught in business, like, go for it.
Right.
Go for it. Go for it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't work with dating because you're dealing with human beings and people want what they can't have. Like the less interested party wins.
Right.
So do you do matchmaking too, or just
We don't
dating?
do matchmaking. No.
Okay. And is it mostly in person?
We did more in person before COVID now. I mean, it's just the same over the phone. I meet people at the mall. Like they don't know how to dress. We have clients, again, they dress
That's
the
you. You're a
glasses
guy
and
introduced
turtlenecks
like that,
and they just don't know how to be feminine. They dress like masculine.
I was just watching, I haven't watched her in a really long time, Patty Stanger,
Yes.
Millionaire Matchmaker. And she was like, okay, you could come to the mixer tomorrow, but come to me first for a makeover.
Yes, yes.
But it's really so true. And I always have this conversation like a lot more with my son, like confidence. And some people just need a little tweak to present themselves better.
Yeah, like long hair.
Yeah.
Contact lenses, makeup, just.
But isn't that hard to tell? I mean, I would tell somebody.
But they're asking for it. I'm not.
Okay.
That's the thing.
what I was gonna say.
Our
It's a
clients
hard
are calling
conversation.
and
Right.
paying. They want this because
'cause
their
if-
mother didn't tell them.
If I have good friends, I tell them, like, you know what, your hair color, you need to fix it, go to my colorist, do this, that.
Yeah.
But most people, I have other friends that I say to them, like, you have to tell your friend, like, their hair looks like George Washington. Like, they need to fix their hair.
Yeah.
But people wouldn't do that.
Right.
Well, it's you have to be a certain person to like give that piece of feedback.
Right.
But the people who are coming to you are like asking you
for the help.
They're asking.
which makes it
Yeah.
a little
You're like
bit-
one-stop shopping.
literally one stop
So they meet you.
Yeah, we meet at Short
How
Hills
long
Mall.
till they get they work
get
on
the guy?
themselves? How long does it usually take to get the guy?
Well, we put them on dating apps. Like they don't even know how to be on a dating app. Like they write, looking for my soulmate, got hurt in the last relationship. I need trust. Yes, I want trust. And we're like, you're basically telling them that you got scammed or hurt or damaged in the
weak baggage.
We're like,
They're bringing their
when I'm
baggage
not-
immediately.
We changed it to when I'm not working in,
Like bad
whatever.
energy
And
they were starting with.
I like to watch Seinfeld, go to the Pilates. Like we changed it to 5 facts about you that are
so
fun.
you set up their
We set up and the photos.
Okay,
and the
that's
photos.
good.
They have photos with like multiple friends. I don't like photos with friends and dogs.
Oh,
and
well, so what would you?
I like
what's
just
your
headshots,
ideal?
body shots, like a modeling shoot.
Okay, what's your? Oh, interesting. Okay, so what's your ideal
You're a model, basically.
model?
Yeah.
Really.
But, with my
so
daughter
funny.
who's 28, so
Oh,
we
same
say
age.
a guy should ask within 4 messages on a dating app, ask you out, like want to meet for coffee.
Yes.
I agree.
Okay? And she's like, no, he could take a week.
No, you're crazy.
I didn't have this conversation legit years ago.
Okay,
Oh,
okay.
we're,
okay.
so we're over that.
Oh, we're over that. Okay.
She
so what
said
I'm
they had
saying,
this
like, you can-
conversation years
Now I
ago.
can barely get through like a couple messages.
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
great.
Yay.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, like, there are plan A strict and plan B. Like, sometimes clients are like, I can't do that plan. It's too strict for me. Like, for example, if a guy after a year doesn't know where it's going and you're at a certain age, you say, well, call me when you know. Do not see him, no contact, nothing. Whereas other women are like, no, I want to stay in touch while he figures it out.
No, I think it's kind of
No.
like a waste
Right?
of time then. When you're at like a
Exactly.
certain age, whatever,
Yeah.
like if
I think it's
They
even
should
earlier
know.
on. I think like I'm thinking about if my boyfriend now like got like the 3-4 month mark when it was like getting really serious. If he said to me like I don't know what I want out of this,
Yeah.
I would have been fucking upset as hell, but I would have been like, okay, like I'm not gonna
Yeah.
contact, like we can't do this then.
Right. So you're a rules girl. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Oh.
In so many ways I'm not, but I guess in that way I am.
yeah,
Right.
because
Yeah.
you're not going to wait. If a guy doesn't know guys know after 3 dates. I mean, give me a break.
Yeah, no, that totally.
This is
know.
such a scam that guys are like, I don't know after 5 years. I don't know after a year.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because, the dating app First Rounds on Me, like we talked about, like waiting a week for a date versus, a few messages. You
Uh-huh.
can't talk to your date until you have the date planned.
Good.
Which
Right.
is like, and you can
I
only
think
talk
that's
for
a great
20
app.
Right.
I think that's a
Genius.
great app.
It's so genius.
I
Because
just
but I
think
agree.
that
So
there's
many
too
apps
much
are just-
talking back and
so
forth.
many
back and
apps are
forth.
just encouraging endless chatting.
Yeah.
And
Right,
that's
'cause it's
not
giving
good.
engagement for their app.
Right.
Right.
We want to get off the app. The goal is to never date again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Somebody asked me,
Yes.
what's the best part of being married? No, not dating.
Right.
Yeah, it's true.
And
I used to
having,
hate those.
But I
See,
think
like, the
when you're
dating-
young, you have to look at his dating as fun because it is fun. Like I used to say to Danny,
Yeah,
the
I
girls
had
got to
fun.
eat. Like you go out, you have fun, you get dressed, you meet
I mean,
somebody
yeah,
new,
but
you can
Sherry's
find
not
a
a
great
dinner date
friend.
girl.
Some women find dating fun. I never found dating fun. I would go on dates and it would be like the dentist. It was like, when is this going to... Because I'm very...
beef with a dentist. I
actually-
don't mind the dentist.
I'm
love my
very
dentist.
like I know
Well,
in
Dr. Joe.
I know in 5 minutes if I like a guy, if I could be with him for the rest of my
Same.
life. So I would end dates after 15 minutes, half hour. I was like out of here.
How'd you get out of there? What'd you say?
I would just say, "Oh my god, I forgot I had something." What? I made all the dates across the street from my apartment. They didn't know where I lived, but I lived on 24th
So you
and 3rd.
planned the date.
No, I just said. They would say, "Do you want to meet for drinks?" And I would say, "Sure." And they'd say,
yeah.
"Where?" And I'd say, "Near me." And they'd say, "Where's near you?" And I'd say, the 20s.
Yeah.
But I made it so that I could go back, and my doorman would say, "Sherry, why are you back so soon?" I go, I didn't like him. It's like,
I found I had both dates.
who has
I-
time to waste?
I thought dating was fun, but I only went on dates when I wanted to go on dates. Like I never went on a date because I was bored.
Right,
But I
right.
went on dates because I was trying to find a connection.
Yeah.
But there were like obviously was times where I'm like, fuck this. But I never the shortest date I had was an hour, which is funny.
Uh-huh.
It was only an hour. Oh my God, you're going to die when I tell you how long my first date was with my boyfriend. It was an hour, and it was because he was absolutely horrible. We was just talking about how he was in recovery, which is fine. But like everything was just about how like he was an alcoholic and investments, and he didn't ask me one question.
He was
That
building a
an hour.
brownstone.
He was building a brownstone. Like, for the whole time, he was talking
Guys
about it.
that talk about themselves on the date.
He didn't ask one
are-
question.
That's terrible. And they're not interested in you because when they like you, they ask you
He also
questions about you.
catfished me. He was like not what he looked like in his
Okay.
photos, or he showed
Yeah.
photos
So
when
it's
he
not
was
fun.
like
So dating
in college.
mom is not fun.
Yeah,
It's
But
not
I-
fun.
but I
It's
did-
fun if you're dating George Clooney, but it's not fun
I think
if
you
you're
have-
dating a
but I-
regular guy.
But I think you
that you
have
don't
to
like.
go in the mindset so you bring good energy. That it is fun.
Good. I would. Yeah, but then I want to be watching TV.
I think
don't-
if you're not enjoying, if you don't have a good mindset or you're not going to enjoy a date, like
You're not going to be a fun date.
they're going to be a fun date. Agreed.
I don't know. I
To
always
each
looked
their
at
own,
it
but that's
that
why we love opinions.
You meet another person. So even when she went on a date that was say meh, I used to say give the guy a second chance.
I
Like,
would say no.
yeah.
I
but
wouldn't
I
go, I
always
wouldn't.
said give someone
No,
a second
no.
chance.
Well,
Because I'm like you. If I knew within
Yeah,
5 minutes
yeah,
if I
yeah.
liked
and
them.
you gave them 15 minutes, and I was making her go on a second date.
Well,
This is
lucky for me, I'm
crazy.
my own person. Did not listen to her.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. See, an hour flew. This is
Yeah.
like the fastest date
This
of
was
my life.
this is the first.
So we
date.
have to end our
We
date.
have to end our.
We have to end it. No, I'm kidding. But we do like to end by doing some finish the sentence questions.
Sure.
So let's fire away. The one, I know what you're going to say now, but the one piece of dating advice that has stood the test of time is Oh, I thought I knew what you were going to say.
Yeah,
Maybe
me
not.
too.
Don't make the first move.
Yeah, that was it.
Don't make the first
Okay.
move.
The rule I think people misinterpret the most is
Oh, wow.
we could think about it.
There are so many rules. End the call after 10 minutes or just end the date after an hour. Like people are like, no, that's not enough time. I need more time. But if he likes you and you'll have another date. He'll let him ask you on another date.
I can imagine like one of your clients being on a date and they're having a good time. And, like they see the hour hits and they're like,
Gotta go.
that
Like
reminds me.
Cinderella.
We don't bring a timer or a
Yeah.
stopwatch. We're just like, wow. This has been-
that
I always
reminds
said,
me.
wow, this was so much fun, but I really have to get going on the big day tomorrow.
Yeah. No, this reminds me of like the first therapist I had, and we had like hour sessions, right? And this was like post like my last breakup. This was like 6-7 years ago, and I was so upset, such a mess. And I'd be like hysterically crying, and at like the hour mark, I'd ask her a question like, "What are like?" I always wanted like tips, like tangible tips. What can I do to like move on from this? And I was like, "But what can I do?" And she goes, well, we have to wait till next time. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm paying you like $3.50 for an hour and you're telling me to like tune in next time?
Therapists do it.
It was like a cliffhanger.
I actually ended up firing her, but that was a different story, but that reminded me of it. When dating feels exhausting or frustrating, the best way to reset your approach is?
Okay, this is something I was going to talk about.
Oh, let's do it.
So many clients are like, I am so fed up with the dating scene, blah, blah. I'm deleting my app. I'm not going out. I'm watching Netflix. I'm going out with girlfriends. I'm like, that is the worst thing you could do. Never stop dating until you meet your future husband because the time is ticking. You know what I mean? Like, it's funny. Like girls will have a breakup and the guy that they broke, who broke up with them is already dating a new girl like 2 weeks later, 2 months later. They're like still talking about him in therapy, calling us.
Yeah.
Like the worst thing, the best revenge is dating somebody else. The best revenge is being on like 10 apps. If you're on 2,
Wait,
be on
what
10.
did I used to tell you? How to get over somebody else.
Is to
Get under somebody else. But I think...
Well, we don't sleep around, but I'm just saying, like, if you should be like on 10 apps. You should be sports bars, speed dating, everything.
Even if you're still upset about it and you're not over them.
Yes, you cry in the cab or the Uber on the way to the next event. Are you kidding me? This was me. This was me that when I was like,
But
I
then
would
you're
go
not bringing
to
good
back in the
energy.
day when I was dating. They were like, Jewish singles events in the city. Like you'd go to the dance, whatever.
I went to one in upstate New York with my college
Oh,
girls.
Concord. Yes. Yeah.
I still have
Why
a little
did
picture viewfinder with Andrea. We had so much fun.
Oh,
so
my God.
you would just go to
You
these
probably
events.
slept with everyone there.
We would just go to these events, but matzo ball dances, like 1,000 Jewish people.
Oh my God, the matzo ball in Boca.
There's
Right,
still a
right, all
matzo ball
that
thing
stuff.
coming up because I sent it to Nancy. I was like, here, maybe your daughter wants to go to this.
Dead. I know. My best friend's mom used to always force her to go to those things.
So I remember going to these things. My rule was an hour. I was there for an hour. Like if it started at 8.
Even at an event,
yes,
you were there for an
because
hour?
It started at 8. I'd get there at 9, leave at 10. Because I don't want to meet drunks at the end of the night.
What if
and I
your
don't want to
dream
meet.
man arrived at 9:01?
It's like that was my thing.
when
Maybe
you
an hour and a half.
So
The
that
night I
time you met your
him,
husband, you left
it was
after
in
an
that,
hour?
Yeah, it was in that. Yeah. He was like, where are you going? Where are you going? Where are you going? Like that. So what I'm saying to you is I would leave an event if I didn't meet anybody good with, I am never going again. That's it.
That was your energy, you're saying.
That was my energy. And then I'd go home and look up the next event. I always swore I was never, ever going again. And then I was looking up the next event when I got home. Because what am I going to do? Like do nothing?
Right.
All my friends that were like, I'm swearing off.
No, that's a good approach.
Never
I think, but
stop. Never. Would you
cry-
stop looking for a job? Like if you were unemployed?
No, absolutely not.
So
I
it's
think
the
if
same-
you want a relationship, you shouldn't stop
Always,
dating. I
always.
totally agree with that. I'm intrigued with the
Crying in
like
the
if
cab
you're
on the
upset
way to
about
the
someone,
date.
I think you need to have time to regroup and have good energy
Like
about
kind of
dating
more
again.
in the relationship.
I've also heard that
But you
men
can-
always jump into a relationship
Yes.
right away. Women grieve earlier on, and then the roles switch. Like months pass, the guy starts grieving because he's
I've
fucked a
never
bunch
heard
of
a guy
chicks then,
grieving.
and
I've
then
never
they're
heard
going
about a
back
guy.
to the,
I have never met a guy grieving, ever, ever, ever.
I've seen it.
They're on to the next, unless they were like badly hurt or something. But usually they're the ones doing the breaking up. It gets more comfortable to be alone. You're like,
Totally.
You go to
Yes.
the museum with girlfriends. I'm like, that was another thing. I never went anywhere with girlfriends unless it was to a singles event. Leave me alone with museums, movies. I need to find a husband. So
Oh, you were kind of on a mission.
Oh yeah, yeah.
See, I feel like women now are very more so into.
I already had my career. I didn't need to like be more.
I don't know if I was on a mission to get married. I mean, I knew
you
I
were
wanted
so
to
young.
get married.
Weren't you young?
I got engaged at 27.
Right. I was 32. I had no time to waste.
Right. So you were ready.
Yeah. But what I'm saying to you is girls that give up, that's the worst thing you could do.
Yeah. I
Never
could
give
see
up.
that though.
Grieve, don't grieve. Like the guy will be more into you if you're not into him. So it's going to work in your favor to be grieving an ex.
And it really is kind of true because I do remember when I was young, I was always the nice girl. And I had a friend who was kind of bitchy, but she's great. I mean, she's beautiful. She's a pretty girl. She's fun. But guys always loved her.
Yeah.
And she was
she
the tough
married?
one. Divorced.
Oh,
That's another thing. Like
Divorce
character
now.
counts. Like you could, we're not bitchy. Like we're hard to get, but we're not mean or anything.
no, of course.
But if a girl gets the guy and then she's bitchy, like on the Housewives and mean,
yeah.
the guys will end the marriage.
No, right. You don't want to be
I
married
mean,
to
look
an
at
absolute
Doreen.
bitch.
You know, I don't know if you follow Beverly Hills Housewives.
Not a housewives girl.
So Dorit, he was crazy about her. PK was crazy about Dorit. And then she starts complaining, nagging, whatever. And he does like a Pretty Woman, like red dress kind of dinner for her. And she complained about that. He's out. He's gone. Like
Yeah.
guys can't take much complaining.
right.
Yeah.
So
sure.
you have to be nice. You can't be a bitch married.
Right.
No.
And we say
We're hard
throughout
to
life,
get, but easy to be with.
right, you always have to be nice. Nice is just
Kill him with kindness.
kill them with kindness. That's what I always say.
One of
It's
her
true.
wise mantras.
Okay. Wait,
Well,
it's so funny.
I had one more, but
we were wrapping up 15 minutes ago.
No, I had one more, but I know these answers. So I'm just going to say it for funsies. If you want to know if someone's really into you, all you have to do is
Do nothing.
amen. Okay.
Love that.
And if someone isn't texting you back, the worst thing you can do is
Stop texting them.
no. The worst.
The worst thing you can do is
text
double
them.
text them. Do not double text
I
them.
literally know these answers already
Yes,
because
yes.
you're so good about vocalizing your rules. Whoa, what a combo.
It was great though.
I need
And
to-
you're super funny too.
Yeah, you're funny.
Oh, thank you.
You should have a podcast. You should do like a hotline.
Can I do one with my daughter?
Yeah, but
Oh, you've already done that market.
Totally kidding. I'm totally kidding.
I would love to do a podcast.
We're here to share.
I love to talk, and I
No,
love to
but
give
you
advice.
should
I love to
really.
help
No,
people.
I'm kidding, guys. Do a
You
podcast.
should, or
it's
do
so
like
fun.
a call-in thing. Like
Yeah.
we should.
That's what I just said.
Yeah.
One, do the podcast. It's so
Yeah.
fun. I mean, you
Yeah.
also start to work together, which is like a wild journey to begin with.
Yeah.
But you guys should really do a hotline because you're just so blunt and out there in a beautiful way. And people should call you and be like, he's not calling me back. It's like
Yeah,
The Ugly
yeah.
Truth, the movie. You know, the
Yeah.
movie The Ugly Truth with the guy when they
Yeah.
call and he's like, she's like, he didn't call me back. And he's like, well, are you ugly? Like,
Right.
I'm not saying you're that, but I'm saying like you give very like blunt to the point.
Yeah, because
You
we
have
don't
your-
want to waste anybody's time.
Right.
We don't want to. Too many friends and even coaches want to say nice things. You know, they want to please you.
Yeah,
We're not
you're
here
not
to please
beating
you.
around the bush
We're
and-
trying to
yeah.
help you move on if it's not right.
Right. And I think
Ellen and I will often say, like, about a relationship when he hates her. We don't even say he doesn't like her. We say he hates her. Because if he skips Valentine's Day, I mean, he hates you.
I would love to have your daughter on for
Rebecca?
her perspective of all of this. Like,
I mean,
truly.
Valentine's Day, guys, you know what they say? They say they don't believe in Valentine's Day. Oh, really? What do you believe? Santa Claus? Like,
Yeah.
come on. That's the new thing to get out of Valentine's Day. No, he hates you. We
Wait.
had a client.
I just kinda had
he
that with
skipped
you, Navo.
Valentine's Day, and then he said to her the
Oh,
week
yeah.
later, oh, I think we missed Valentine's Day. Are you kidding me? Like,
Yeah.
how I went to the supermarket. You cannot miss Valentine's Day. Everything's red, candy. Like, it's like, who can miss
Right.
Valentine's Day?
Right.
No, that's so valid.
It really is
It's
true.
So valid.
It really is true.
It all goes back to my dad saying, men are simple creatures.
Yes. If they smell desperation in a woman, they will calm them. It's like, did you see Tinder Swindler?
Yeah. I
These
saw
women that give money, and it's like crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, but
So you have to
that is like fucking nuts. Like,
But this is emotional cheat. This
Totally.
is emotional swindling. They
Yeah.
they take
Right.
your heart out of your body because they text you a lot and love bomb you
love
and,
bomb,
yeah.
yeah.
and don't really
Love bomb
deliver.
is such a modern term. I feel like that was
Yeah,
not a
we
thing
didn't have
you guys
that when we were
dating.
young.
Ghosting.
I don't even
But
remember
also you guys
ghosting.
didn't even have-
I don't think we had any of that when we were young.
Nobody
I was
did-
never
nobody
ghosted. I
nobody
was
made
never,
up those words back then.
But
we
I
just
was
said
never
he
love
hates you.
bond. I was.
If a guy doesn't call for a week, skips a week, He hates you. He doesn't
I
like
love that.
He hates
That-
you.
that's good.
That's the name of the podcast I want to do.
He hates you.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's literally the movie he's just not that into.
Yeah, right.
Anyway.
Yeah, that was a lot.
Did
of
we
fun.
get it all in?
Yeah.
I think we did.
Okay.
We have to cut it off because it's an hour and we can't
Okay.
waste your time.
Okay.
But thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
What a wild conversation. I feel so educated in different ways
It
I
was
never
great.
even thought. Where are you on Instagram, social media? Where can people find you? Where can people? Rulesbook.
The Rules
Okay.
Book is our Instagram, and therulesbook.com is our website.
Okay.
So we have courses, consultations.
Thank you so much for listening. Like 5 stars, all those good things. And tune in next week. Thanks so
Right.
much.